and he wasn't grooming them. I had them all wrong. Carter's upset. Look, Carter, just like Dwight said, go listen to your family. Carter, go home and go back to school. So Rip is finished for the evening, and Beulah comes up and says, "I have dinner ready." And Rip goes, "No, my wife. I'm sure my wife has dinner." And she said, "I smoked a brisket for a bunch of hours or whatever." And he said, "I guess I'll stay." But I think he knew she wanted to talk, so he's a good businessman. So he's like, "Okay, I'll meet you up there." So Joaquin shows up at home, and the guy who just got fired is telling him about it, and he's pissed. And he's like, "I did everything for this ranch, and I talking about the guy who was killed, Eric. He said I know what happened, and so Joaquin was like, 'Are you threatening? Is this sounds like a threat?' And I'm like, he should know better than to say anything like that to this family." Beth is cooking dinner while still reading up on Beulah's ranch. She calls Rip to find out where he is because dinner was she's working on dinner. Another thing is Rip having a flip phone is makes so much sense. He just seems like the guy that would just have a flip phone and that's all he needed. But he tells her he's going to stay for dinner, and she's like, "Okay, do what you need to do." And then she went back to what she was doing. Carter's talking with the sheriff, and the sheriff is like, "Listen, Carter was like, "You shot him or whatever," and he was telling him basically, "That's none of your business. Don't worry about it. How smart are you? Do you want this to go any further? Because you've been in my custody like twice." And when he said, "How smart are you?" Carter was like, "I don't want my parents to know." He said, "Okay, you were never there," and he told him, "Your truck, we left it somewhere. Go get it, basically, and you don't speak of this again." I don't know why I thought he was going to be a good guy or a decent guy. So Carter goes on his way. So Beulah and Rip are having dinner, and she's asking him to tell her about Beth and all this, and they had small talk. And they talked about money, and she said, "I can pay you." I think she said like $8,000 a month, a house and a truck. He said, "I don't need a house and I don't need a truck." And she said, "Okay, what about 9,000?" He said, "What about 11,000?" So that's what she's paying him a month. Carter calls Oriana to come pick him up and her bodyguard. So they pick him up, and he breaks down because Dwight Joaquin goes to the sheriff's office, and he's sitting there in the sheriff's chair like he's the boss, and he asks him what's going on with Eric's wife, widow, and he said, "We can't find her, so it's either one or two things: she's either dead, and you don't want to know the other thing." So I guess that means she's somewhere going to snitch or something. I don't know. So Joaquin was like, "What do we pay you for?" And he said, or Joaquin asked him, "Why do we pay you? You're supposed to take care of this." And then the sheriff tells him just to get out of his office, get out of his chair. Beth goes to see Beulah after Rip leaves. Just so happens not